You will now learn how to style your blog with the help of the Bootstrap 4 gem we installed in the previous episode. We'll start with basic styling in terms of aligning the pages and styling the table and buttons. In the next episode, we will go a little deeper into the styling, but let's get started with this one first.
I bought a 34 wagon and we call it a Woody. Surf City, here we come. You know it's not very cherry, it's a goldie but a goodie. Surf City, here we come. Well, it ain't got a backseat or a rear window.
Alright, open up your blog application in your text editor. Go to App folder, Views folder, Layouts folder, and open the application.html.erb file. There we go. We haven't touched this file yet. This is the HTML file that all other files in the Views folder gets funneled through, so to speak. It all happens by the yield statement. Because of this, any styling on this page will automatically affect all other pages. So let's surround the yield statement with a div tag and give it a class of container. The container class is the main parent class in Bootstrap and already has a built-in margin attribute. Alright, so there we go. Right, go to your browser and refresh your window. If all have gone well, you should now see that your text is indented. Let's check the other pages as well. You'll see that your list of articles is indented by the same amount. Also, when you narrow the window, you'll see that it already has some fluidity to it. Click on the show link and test the fluidity of that page. Alright, so we have a little mobile-friendly thingy going on there. Go back to your text editor. Let's style the container class a little bit. Go to the Assets folder, Stylesheets folder, and open up the application.scss file. Under where it says Add Import Bootstrap, type .container, curly brackets, and give it a padding top attribute with the value of 15 pixels. 15 is better. Okay. Go back to the browser and refresh the page. Okay, so the top now has a bit of padding to it. Let's do some styling on the index page in the Welcome Views folder. So go to Views, Welcome, and then open up the index.html.erb file. To make sure that our blog is mobile friendly, we need to use Bootstrap's column classes. But these must be contained within a row class. So let's give it a div tag and then with the class row. And let's close the div tag here in the bottom. Okay. So Bootstrap 4 has a few differences from Bootstrap 3. Here we will give it a div tag and with the class of col for col. And then close this div tag immediately. Copy this and paste it under the paragraph tag. Oh, there we go. And right underneath here on the top, give it a div tag again. And now we're going to do class equals, and I'm going to give it a column class col-medium type md-7. And close the div tag completely underneath the paragraph. And I will here put a little comment in for myself. And I will put a comment for the column, medium column of 7 small columns. I will not explain too much what this means in Bootstrap, for I'm planning to make a big Bootstrap website and post it, so that would be more in detail explained. Go to your browser. Okay. And I actually ended up closing mine, so I would have to type localhost :3000. And now I'm going to refresh. Okay, well, so now it's a little bit more indented because we have take up a column on each side, and this spans 7 columns in the middle. So I would do some inline styling here. I think it's good to start with inline styling and then move it to the asset sheet. So I would do it style equals padding top, and I would do this in the percentage. So let's do 10% to start with. And then here in the column medium 7 class, give it a class of text center. This will center the text and lower it by 10% from the top. There we go. That looks actually quite neat. And let's narrow the browser window, and you see it has some nice fluidity to it already. I will copy now the localhost :3000. I will check everything in my Firefox browser. It's really good to check your web pages in several browsers. There we go. Okay, looks neat. Looks basically exactly the same. I will narrow the window. So Firefox, you can narrow it more than Chrome, which is actually pretty good because some phones are still quite narrow. All right, go back and let's check the list of articles. Okay, let's actually style this one. So go to Views, Articles, and Index. And we're going to repeat the similar process. We're going to give it a div tag with the class of row. And then we're going to do a div tag with the class of col, C-O-L. This will span over the left side of the page. And then we're going to give it a div tag with the class of, and let's do col, C-O-L -MD for medium, and we're going to do 10 this time. So it would span a little wider than the home page. Okay, let's go down to the end here and let's close the div tag. Corresponds to 10 columns, and I put in a comment for myself, and we need to not there, we need to give it a div tag here with the class of col, C-O-L, and then we close this one immediately. Alright, and then we need to close the div tag for the row. And then I'm going to write a comment here that this div closing div tag corresponds to the row class. Right, let's go to the browser, refresh. Oh, look at that. So now it's nicely centered. Let's scroll up to the top, and we're going to do some inline styling here. So the table, we're going to give a class of table. And this will automatically style the table a little bit. This is a built-in class in Bootstrap. So now we have some rows for the table. And I'm going to take away all these pipe signs. So I'm going to open up find and find in buffer. And I'm typing a pipe sign and replace with nothing. And then I'm going to go and find them. If you do the same, be careful to not erase the pipe sign around that is for your do statement. Okay, so here I go up, replacing each one. And then I'm skipping these two and replacing the other two with nothing. Okay, let's go back to the browser, refresh. There we go. All right, that looks pretty neat. Let's do the same in Firefox. Click my blog. All right. So this is a little different here. Here is a little bit wider each line. But let's go to the table and we're gonna give this another class. Actually, let's do a button here first. So for the link, by the link, create new article. Afterward it says new article path, type comma, class, colon, type single quotation btn space btn dash lg space btn n dash info. It's going to give it a nice kind of bluish, slightly, nice medium blue color. Yeah, there we go. And it has a hovering effect too. Okay, we are in Firefox, so let's go back to Chrome. No, now we're in Firefox. Oh, got a little confused there. Okay, perfect, that looks nice. All right, now let's style the table with an inherent table class that we're going to call, that is called table-hover. Go to the browser and refresh, then hover over each row. Here we go. See, it has a really cool little hovering effect. And that is also built in Bootstrap. Let's go style these other buttons too. So let's start with styling the show link. So after article underscore path and the parentheses, type comma and then class, colon, single quotation, type btn space btn dash sm for small, btm dash let's do info here too for the show link. And for the edit, so type a comma here, class, colon, single quotation, type btn space btn dash sm space btn dash, let's do warning. It's going to give it a little yellowish, slightly orangey color. And then for the delete button, so again type class and colon, single quotation, type btn space btn dash sm space btm dash danger. This is going to give it a red color. So we know that we are about to maybe do something regrettably. Go to the browser, refresh. Okay, oopsie. Alright, I forgot a comma after danger. Maybe you caught that mistake already. There we go. Now everything should work fine. Go back to your browser, refresh. There, alright. So now we have styled our buttons and we have a nice hovering effect over each row. Cool. So let's go to our show page in the articles folder. But let's go back to the index and copy the classes for row, column, and column medium. And now give it a width of 7. And let's do the same thing. Let's go back to the index for the articles. Page and scroll down, and let's just copy this, what we have in the bottom here. Go to the show page and paste it in the bottom. And for the comment, I'm just going to change it to 7 because that's what I'm using on top. So go to a show article and refresh. Okay, so it is indented, but it's not centered. So we want text fields, or yes, to span the whole width. So under the do statement for form 4, give it a div tag with class field. And I'm going to do some inline line styling here. I'm going to give it the width of 100%. And then I need to close the div statement down there. And here after where it says the text underscore field, after the commentary, type comma and then class colon single quotation, type form dash control. This is again a Bootstrap class, and do the same thing for the text underscore area. After the body, type colon type comma class colon single quotation form control. Right, let's go back to the browser and refresh. Okay, alright, it didn't do what I wanted to do, just flushed it to the right side. So let's inspect the code here and see what I forgot in the browser window, which you do with the right mouse click and then ask the browser to show the code. Right, so I forgot an equal sign and I forgot to close my my div statement. So there we go. I type an equal sign here, and then here this needs to have a / to close the div statement or the div tag. Alright, let's go back to the browser, refresh. There we go. Alright, so now the forms are spanned over the full column widths, and you see it is center on equal side of the browser. It is centered. Let's narrow the window and we see we have some nice fluidity to it. Go to your Firefox browser and do the same thing, refresh. Cool. And let's narrow the window. There we go. There. Alright, good. So we have some mobile friendly display going on there. Okay, so let's continue. Go back to the text editor and to your show page within the articles folder. Let's style these two links, back and home. So after articles path, type comma, then class colon single quotation btn space btn dash md space btm dash info for that blue nice color. And after welcome underscore index underscore path, let's just copy what we just did and paste it in. But let's give it a class of btn dash primary. That's a little darker blue. Let's go back to your browser, refresh. There we go. Alright, so now I have two little colors, but let's get rid of that pipe sign. Okay, save and go back to the browser and refresh. Okay, so now we have two nice buttons for back and go to the home page. Let's style the create comment button as well. So let's go back to the page where we have our form. So that's under comments and form. It may be, I have the tab already open. So here after it says f.submit, type comma, class colon, single quotation, type btn space btn dash lg for large button space btn dash success. This will give it a nice green color. Go back to your browser, refresh. Oh, okay. Alright, we actually don't need a comma between submit and class here. So it says we have a syntax error. So there we go. Alright. Now I deleted that comma. Go back to browser, refresh. There. Alright, nice green button. Just narrow the window a little bit and enlarge it, and then you should see the fluidity still. Let's go to our new.html.erb file and open it up. And from the show page, copy the row column classes and paste it in at the top of the new page. Go back to the show page and let's just copy the closing tags. Go to the new page and scroll down to the bottom and paste it in. So we follow the same layout for each page basically, so that's why we can just copy and paste now. And let's also from the show page copy the back and home link and go and paste it in the new page. So we're being a little lazy here. Go back to the browser and refresh. Go to a list of articles and then create new article. Remember we did this security, so you should be prompted to do your authentication. So type in your username and your password that you assigned to yourself. And hit login. There we go. Alright, so now we have everything is styled on the create article page as well. There is still, we want to do a few things. We need to follow the same principle as we did for the form page. Let's go and copy the class and field and go to the show page, and under where it says form, paste in. Right there. And close the div tag under the paragraph tag for submit. And I'm going to put in a comment for myself here that this is a div tag that is closing the field class. Okay. Let's go back to the form page and let's copy the class form control here, this text, and then scroll down in the new.html.erb file and paste it in after it says title, and do the same after where it says text for the text area. And we also want the same for the submit button. So we're going to go to the form page where we have it and copy the success button link text and then paste it back in here in the new.html.erb file. Alright, let's go to the browser, refresh. Okay, so it's good now. Now we have a cohesiveness among the pages. Go to your Firefox browser and refresh. Okay, cool. Let's sign in to our Firefox page as well to check that everything is working correctly, so we can hit the create article button. Okay, looks very much the same across these two browsers. Let's go back to the text editor. And let's go to our welcome index page. And I'm going to copy this styling on top here that gave it a padding of 10%. Go back to the new page and paste it in. So we're also going to have a little padding on top for our new article form. Go to the browser, refresh. There. So it's kind of nicely centered a little bit more over the whole page. Back to the text editor. Go to layouts. Actually, go to edit. So remember we have show, new, and edit. We're going to repeat the same process for the edit.html.erb file. Go to the new page and copy everything on top. Go back to the edit.html file and paste everything above the h1 tag. Go back to the new article page and scroll down and copy the div tags that we have in the bottom that is closing the div tags on top. Scroll down to the bottom in the edit file and paste it in. Cool. Let's go back to the new page again and copy the link buttons and paste it into the edit page. Right, and then we also need to just style the forms. So let's just do the same thing, go between the new page and the edit page and copy in to the edit page what we have from the new page in terms of styling. So I copied the button success. I copied the button or the class form control and pasted in. And the form control pasted in after title. Let's go to the browser, refresh. Let's click edit. All right. So now it looks very nice and cohesive across almost all pages here. Okay, let's go back to the text editor. See what else we need to do. A few more things. So I'm closing all my pages here. But let's go to the Assets folder, Style Sheets, and the application SCSS file and open it up. Okay, let's do some styling here. So type dot form dash control, that was the class of our form fields, curly braces, and type background color. So let's give our form fields a background color. So let's give it a nice mild grayish color. # EF. Back to our browser. Refresh. Now we should see a background color of gray in our forms. There we go. Right. Okay. Let's go and test it in our Firefox browser as well. Perfect. Let's put a little border around the forms. So back to the application.scss file, type border : 2px. We give it a border of 2 pixels, solid, and the #. Let's type EECCDD. That will give it a very mild pinkish color. Back to the browser, refresh. Okay, it's refreshing. Okay, there we go. Now a cute little border there. So the colors doesn't match so nicely right now, but we're going to style them a little better in the next video. Okay, go back to your text editor. And here, let's actually style our table a bit. So look in the browser on the list of articles. It would be nice to have a background color on this table header. So go back to your text editor, to the application.scss file. And the table header then is THEAD and curly braces. And type background color. And let's give it just a nice little gray color. So let's give it a EF. That's a nice light gray. Get back to your browser. Let's go to the table so we can look at the list of articles table. Alright, so there we go. Now we have a nice little background color. Okay, although it turned out to be the same color as the hovering effect, so let's give it a little darker gray. So I will type DD. That's a 6 Ds. That's a little darker gray. Okay, back to the browser and refresh. Okay. So okay, now it's a little darker gray than the hovering effect gray. Perfect. Okay, let's narrow the window. So it has a tiny bit of fluidity to it, but the table is a little bit more restricted. Okay, let's go back to the text editor. and to the index, still index in the articles page. So let's style the home button down here. So after welcome index path, comma, class, colon, and we're going to do the btn space btn dash sm space btn dash info. Actually, let's change it to primary, so because that's the color we have on the other pages. Okay, good. So it's a little bit darker blue there. Okay, let's delete a few of these just to make sure that everything works nicely. Okay, so I'm clicking on the delete buttons on a few, and so everything still works perfectly. So it deletes, it prompts me, and it has the nice hovering effect, and it looks quite pretty. Cool. So the text here is nicely centered, and let's go and create an article. Oh, create a comment. So I will just type any comment here. So I just type Latin stuff. I type Lauren is actually pretty cool. Been around for a long time. Create comment. Nice. Alright, so now we created the comment as well. Perfect. Alright, actually let's style the delete button on the comment for the comments. So we do the same thing as we done on the other delete buttons. Give it a class of btn space btn dash md space btn dash danger. And I will put in the comma here so I won't forget it. Alright, save, refresh. There. Alright, so now we have a nice red delete button. Let's style this main button on the front page. So let's go back to the text editor. In the welcome folder, index.html.erb, after the articles underscore path for the my blog link, type comma, class, colon, single quotation, btn dash lg btn dash danger. And I'm just going to change the text here to read my blog. Okay, go to the browser, refresh. Alright, cool. So now we have a nice button there. Okay, let's do one more thing. I want to center that text a little bit more, so I'm going to put it as 20% from the top instead. Back to the browser, refresh. There we go, that looks really nice and centered. Okay, so we are done closing everything. I'm going to the terminal, and let's do git status. You probably know what's coming up now. We do git status. I'm going to clear the page and then type git space add dot, and then git commit dash m single quotation, and then type what you did. So we styled with Bootstrap, and then which was just basically basic styling. I think that's it. That's all that needs to be done. Okay. That's the git status. On branch master, nothing to commit. We're all done. And one more video, and we're going to do it a little bit nicer. Okay? See you next time. Have a good day, evening, night. Okay, bye-bye.
But it still gets me where I wanna go.